On a busy school morning, the hallway was full of noise, students laughing, backpacks slamming into lockers, shoes clicking on the floor. In the middle of all this chaos walked Amina, a quiet 14-year-old blind black girl. She held her white cane carefully in front of her, tapping gently to find her way. Her steps were slow, calm, and careful, even though people rushed past her from both sides. No one really noticed her. To most students, she was invisible, a girl who spoke very little, kept her head down, and stayed alone. But today felt different. Amina sensed it. The air around her felt heavier, the whispers louder. She wasn't sure why, but she felt that something was waiting for her. Something unpleasant. She moved her cane to the left, trying to count the number of steps toward her classroom. She listened closely for sounds, voices, bags, footsteps, anything that could guide her. Amina had learned to see with her ears, but the school hallway was always loud, always confusing. Still, she walked with patience. She never complained. She never caused trouble. She simply wanted to reach class safely. Then suddenly, bang! Someone's shoulder rammed into her from the side. Amina stumbled and grabbed the wall to steady herself. A sharp, mocking voice laughed. "Oh look, the blind girl is in our way again." It was Brianna and her group, 3 girls who enjoyed humiliating Amina whenever they could. They laughed loudly, almost proudly, as if hurting someone was an achievement. Amina swallowed hard. She didn't speak. She rarely did. I'm sorry," she whispered, even though she had done nothing wrong. Her cane was kicked out of her hand. Another girl giggled. "Oops. Did you drop something?" Amina felt panic rise inside her. Without her cane, the world became a black, spinning, dangerous space. She bent down slowly, hands shaking as she searched the cold floor with her fingers. The girls kept laughing. "Imagine being her," one bully said. "Can't see anything. Can't defend herself. So helpless." Amina's chest hurt, but she stayed silent. She had learned long ago that showing emotion only made the bullies push harder. So she kept her face calm even when her heart trembled. Students passed by, pretending not to see what was happening. Some looked away. Others watched, but no one helped. Amina's fingers touched her cane, finally, and she grabbed it tightly. She exhaled deeply as if the world became steady again. "Move aside, blind mouse," Brianna said, shoving her shoulder one more time. Amina didn't answer. She simply turned and continued walking, slow and careful, her cane tapping in front of her. The hallway noise swallowed her again, making her fade back into the background like she always did. But something was hidden deep inside her, something the bullies could not see. Amina had a secret. Every day after school, while everyone else went home or hung out with friends, Amina went to a small, quiet dojo in her neighborhood. It was the only place where she felt strong. For years, she had trained in karate, not the flashy, noisy type people posted online, but a style built for blind fighters. A style based on sound, balance, and instinct. Her sensei always told her, "Strength is not in your eyes, Amina. It is in your heart and mind." And Amina believed him. With each training session, she learned more about awareness, speed, and reaction. She could sense movement in the air. She could hear footsteps from far away. She could predict a strike just from the shift of someone's breathing. But she kept this hidden. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She didn't want attention. She only wanted peace. Back in the hallway, she found her classroom door. Her fingers traced the small metal number plate. She pushed the door open quietly and entered. The room fell silent for a moment as some students stared at her. They were always curious. How did she live, study, survive? Amina could feel their eyes on her, but she calmly walked to her seat in the back corner. She sat down slowly, placed her cane beside her desk, and folded her hands. Her breathing finally settled. But she couldn't erase the bullies' laughter from her mind. The teacher entered and started class, but Amina barely heard the lesson. Her thoughts spun in circles. Why do they hate me? Why do they hurt me? Why does no one help? But still, she didn't cry. She had taught herself not to. Then, during break time, the bullies appeared again, inside the classroom this time. Amina instantly felt the room change. Their footsteps, their whispers, the way the air moved, she could sense every detail. "Oh look," Brianna said softly, "the blind girl is alone again." Amina's hands tightened under the desk. Her heart beat faster, but she kept her face calm. "What should we do today?" another bully asked. "Take her bag." Hide her cane again. Or maybe push her chair. They laughed. Students around them froze. Nobody dared to interfere. Amina kept sitting straight, waiting, listening. She didn't know it yet, but today would be the last day she let them humiliate her. Today, everything would change. Because the moment Brianna raised her hand behind Amina's back, Amina heard it. And her instincts awakened. The classroom was silent, almost too silent, as Brianna slowly stepped behind Amina. She lifted her hand, ready to shove Amina's shoulder and make her fall from her chair. The other bullies smirked, waiting for the humiliation to start. But something unexpected happened. Just as Brianna's hand sliced through the air, Amina's head tilted slightly, almost like she felt the movement before it even happened. Her hand shot up and grabbed Brianna's wrist with surprising speed. The room gasped. Brianna froze. Amina didn't stand or scream. She didn't even look scared. She simply held Brianna's wrist firmly, her face calm and blank. How did you do that?" one girl whispered. Amina slowly released the wrist. "I heard you," she said softly. Brianna stepped back, confused and embarrassed. "What do you mean, you heard me? I didn't make a sound." Amina didn't answer. She didn't need to. She simply lifted her cane and stood up. Her movements were calm but confident, different from her usual quiet fear. Students looked at her like she was someone new, someone strong, someone they didn't understand. Brianna wasn't done. Her face turned red with anger. She wasn't used to being challenged, especially not by someone she believed was weak. "Oh, so now you want to act smart," she snapped. "You think just because you grabbed my hand, you can fight me?" Amina stayed silent. Brianna laughed loudly. "Fine. Let's see you dodge this." She pushed forward again, this time faster, her hand aiming for Amina's shoulder. But Amina stepped aside gently, as if she had seen it coming. Brianna stumbled because she didn't expect Amina to move so smoothly. The class gasped again. Someone whispered, "Is she trained?" Another said, "She moves like she can see." Brianna grew more angry and more embarrassed. "You're a liar. You're pretending. You're not really blind." Amina felt her chest tighten. She never liked when people said that. They didn't understand her world, her darkness, her struggles. So she finally spoke. Her voice was soft but filled with emotion. "I am blind," she said. "But that doesn't mean I am helpless." The words hit the room like thunder. Everyone fell silent. Brianna stepped forward again, determined to hurt her now. But Amina sensed her steps, the pressure on the floor, the shift in the air, the change in breathing. Amina lifted her hand slightly, preparing to defend again. But before Brianna could reach her, "Enough!" The teacher entered the classroom at that exact moment. Her eyes widened when she saw the scene, Amina standing, bullies surrounding her, Brianna's hand in midair. "What is happening here?" the teacher demanded. The bullies backed away instantly, suddenly acting innocent. "We were just talking," Brianna lied. The teacher's eyes narrowed. She looked at Amina. But Amina didn't complain. She never did. She simply sat down quietly. The teacher sighed. She knew something was wrong, but Amina gave her no clues. "All of you, sit down," she said. The class continued, but nothing felt normal anymore. Students kept glancing at Amina, trying to understand how a blind girl moved with such sharp awareness. Amina sat still, lost in her thoughts. She didn't want to fight. She didn't want attention. She only wanted peace. But something inside her shifted today. Maybe she was tired of being hurt. Maybe she was tired of being quiet. Maybe she was ready to change things. When the bell rang for lunch, Amina waited until everyone left before she stood up. She moved her cane slowly across the floor, tapping carefully. But she didn't know that Brianna and her friends were waiting for her outside the classroom, with anger burning stronger than before. And this time, they didn't want to embarrass her. They wanted to break her completely. What they didn't know was, Amina's true strength was only beginning to show. The hallway was almost empty when Amina stepped out of the classroom. Her white cane tapped gently on the floor as she tried to walk toward the cafeteria. But she didn't know Brianna and her friends were already standing around the corner, waiting. The moment Amina turned, Brianna grabbed her backpack strap and yanked it hard. Amina stumbled forward and almost fell. "Look at her," Brianna sneered. "Still acting like she's brave." Amina took a shaky breath. She knew this was coming. Bullies never stopped after getting embarrassed. They always returned worse. I don't want any trouble, Amina said softly. But the girls laughed. Trouble? Brianna mocked. Oh, sweetheart, we just want to teach you something. Amina kept her face calm, but inside, her heart beat fast. She could hear everything, the shuffle of shoes, the nervous breathing, the building tension. Brianna stepped closer and whispered in a cold voice. You think you're special because you blocked me earlier? I'll make sure you regret that. Amina didn't respond. She tried to pull away, but the girls blocked her path. One girl snatched her cane. Amina reached out instinctively, but it was too late. Oh, look at this stick, the girl laughed. What does she even do with it? Stab people. They waved the cane around like it was a toy. Amina felt fear rising in her chest. That cane was her eyes. Without it, the world was darkness mixed with danger. Please, she whispered. Give it back. Brianna smirked. Come and take it. Amina took a small step forward, hands shaking slightly. She could sense the cane moving, someone tossing it from hand to hand. She could hear the wind it made. She could track it. But she didn't act, not yet. Brianna suddenly pushed Amina's shoulder, and Amina lost balance, falling to her knees. The girls laughed loudly. Can't even stand without your little stick, one said. Amina didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply breathed slowly, calming her shaking hands. But her silence only made Brianna angrier. You think staying quiet makes you strong? Brianna yelled. Let's see you stay quiet when... But suddenly... Hey! What are you doing? A voice echoed down the hallway. Amina froze. The girls froze too. It wasn't a teacher. It wasn't a friend. It was Malik, a tall boy from the 10th grade who rarely talked to anyone. Everyone knew him as the quiet type, the one who minded his own business. He walked toward them, eyes sharp. Brianna rolled her eyes. Oh please, Malik. Stay out of this. We're just... You're bullying her, Malik said calmly. Give her cane back. The hallway felt heavier now. Brianna tried to laugh. Or what? You'll fight us? Look, she's blind. Why are you defending her? Malik didn't blink. Because she didn't do anything wrong. The girl holding the cane looked uncertain now. Brianna snapped at her, Don't give it to him. But Malik stepped closer, slow, steady, confident. He wasn't angry. He wasn't scared. He simply reached out and took the cane from the girl's hand before she could react. He held it gently, like it was something important. Amina lifted her head slightly. She could tell from the footsteps who was approaching. Malik knelt and placed the cane into her hands. Amina touched it like it was something precious, her breath shaky. Thank you, she whispered. Malik stood up straight. Leave her alone, he said to the bullies. Brianna rolled her eyes but backed away. For now, she muttered. This isn't over. The girls scattered, whispering angrily as they walked away. Amina stood slowly, using her cane to balance. Malik didn't move. He waited quietly, respectfully. Are you okay? He asked. Amina nodded, though she felt bruised inside. Her voice trembled slightly as she answered. Yes. Thank you. Malik hesitated, then said quietly. You didn't deserve that. If you ever need help, I'm around. Amina smiled softly, small but real. She wasn't used to kindness from strangers. As Malik walked away, Amina held her cane tightly. But deep inside, something felt different. For the first time, someone saw her, not as a weak blind girl, but as a person worth defending. Yet she knew Brianna wasn't done. The look in the bully's eyes said one thing. They would return. Stronger. Crueler. More determined. And when they did, Amina's hidden strength might finally come out. Lunch break passed quietly, but the silence felt heavy. Amina sat alone at a corner table, her hands wrapped around her lunch tray, untouched. She tried to listen to the sounds around her, footsteps, chatter, laughter, but her mind kept replaying the moment Brianna took her cane. She felt small again. Weak. Breakable. But deep inside, something else was growing, something she had kept hidden for years. After lunch, Amina walked slowly toward the music room, where she usually spent her free period. The corridors were quieter now, but each echoing footstep made her uneasy. Her cane tapped softly. Tap, tap, tap. Then she heard it. Whispers. Footsteps. The soft laughter she recognized too well. Brianna. Amina's heart tightened. She turned slightly, trying to sense where they were. Suddenly, a hand shoved her from behind. Amina stumbled forward but caught herself before she fell. Well, well, Brianna said in a mocking voice. Look who's walking around like nothing happened. Amina breathed slowly. She remembered every lesson her father taught her, not about fighting, but about staying calm in darkness. I don't want any trouble, Amina whispered. Too bad, Brianna replied. Before Amina could react, someone kicked her cane, knocking it out of her hand again. It slid across the floor, hitting the wall with a soft clink. Amina's heart dropped instantly. The world felt darker without it. She lowered her head, feeling the old fear return, the helpless kind that made her freeze. Pick it up, Brianna said to one of her friends. Let's see if she can find it. The girls laughed. But Amina didn't cry. Her breathing changed. Slow. Focused. She was listening, not to Brianna's voice, but to everything else. Air movement. Shoes sliding. Hands brushing fabric. Breaths growing faster. Are you scared? Brianna teased, stepping closer. You should be. Amina clenched her fingers. Then Brianna reached out to push her again. But this time Amina moved first. She stepped aside smoothly, and Brianna's hand sliced through the air, catching nothing. Brianna stumbled forward a bit. What? How did she? The other girls looked nervous now. Amina stood straight, her expression calm. I told you, she said softly. I don't want trouble. But I'm not weak. Brianna's face twisted with anger. Oh please, she snapped. You think you're special? Just because you can hear a little better. Amina said nothing. So Brianna lunged at her. The moment Brianna's foot shifted, Amina sensed it. She heard the whoosh of air. She knew the direction before the attack even came. Amina lifted her arm and blocked Brianna's swing with perfect timing. The impact shocked Brianna. Her mouth fell open. What was that? Amina didn't answer. Her father's voice echoed in her memory. You cannot see the world. But you can feel it. Use that. Another girl tried to grab Amina's arm from the side. Amina turned her body lightly, slipping out of reach. The girl lost balance and grabbed onto a locker to steady herself. The hallway filled with gasps and confusion. She's blind. How is she doing that? This is crazy. Brianna looked furious and scared. You're lying, she screamed. No blind girl can fight like this. Amina finally spoke. I'm not fighting, she said quietly. I'm protecting myself. Her voice was steady, stronger than ever before. But Brianna wasn't finished. Her pride wouldn't let her walk away. She stepped back, ready to try again, this time with more force. Amina felt it. She felt everything. She tightened her stance, her feet firm. A storm was coming. And for the first time, Amina was ready to face it. She didn't know Brianna's next move would push her farther than she had ever gone. Or that the person who would witness everything would change the entire school's view of her. Forever. The hallway seemed to hold its breath. Brianna and her friends circled Amina, unsure, angry, and a little scared. Students peeked from around corners, whispering to each other. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. Brianna lunged again, more forcefully this time. But Amina didn't move blindly. She felt the air shift, heard the steps coming toward her, and instinctively blocked and stepped aside. The bullies stumbled, unable to predict her movements. Every strike they tried to land missed by inches, and every attempt revealed their weakness. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway, slower, stronger, and calm. A tall teacher, Mr. Holden, appeared at the end of the corridor, eyes wide in disbelief. He had heard the commotion and saw the bullies frozen, trying to attack, and Amina moving like a skilled fighter. Enough! Mr. Holden shouted. His voice cut through the chaos. The bullies froze instantly, backing away as if their courage had vanished. Step aside, all of you. Now! Brianna's face turned pale. She had never seen anyone move like that. Not only was Amina blind, but she had also fought with precision, balance, and calm confidence. The other students whispered in shock, staring at her. You're a black belt, someone whispered from the back. Amina nodded slightly, her heart still racing but her face calm. She didn't gloat. She didn't smile. She simply stood tall, holding her cane like a shield. Brianna and her friends tried to lie, saying they didn't mean anything. But their guilt was obvious. Teachers arrived, hearing the commotion, and saw everything. The bullies were called into the principal's office. For the first time, Amina didn't have to explain herself. The truth was clear to everyone. The hallway that had always been a place of fear for Amina now felt different. She could hear whispers of admiration, students amazed at her skills, her courage, and her patience. Some even approached her to apologize quietly. Mr. Holden knelt beside her. "Amina, I had no idea," he said softly. "You're incredible. Not just for what you can do, but for who you are." Amina smiled gently. "I've always known I could do it," she said. "I just didn't want anyone hurt, and I didn't want attention. But sometimes, you have to stand up for yourself." Word spread quickly through the school. Amina became a quiet symbol of strength and courage. She still walked the hallways with her white cane, still moved quietly and carefully, but now students treated her with respect. The bullies never tried to humiliate her again. Months later, Amina returned to the dojo. Her sensei smiled as she stepped onto the mat. "I see you've learned something new," he said. "Yes," Amina replied. "I learned that strength isn't just about training your body. It's about patience, courage, and standing up for yourself, even when the world doesn't see you." Her training continued, but now she trained not just for herself, but to inspire others. She became a mentor to younger students, teaching them balance, awareness, and confidence. And every time she walked through the school hallways, her cane tapping softly on the floor, she walked not as a victim, not as someone invisible, but as a young girl who knew her own power. The final scene shows Amina standing tall, students around her looking amazed and inspired. Her quiet smile reflects pride, strength, and hope.